Hey, welcome to this tutorial. In this tutorial, we will have a look at how you can make a WhatsApp or Messenger interface in 3D space. And I think this looks really good. Here are some example renders. And let's have a look at how that works. We will be using a little bit geometry nodes, so that will be fun, I think. And I think it is for beginners. So welcome. We will be using always the newest Blender, but I think you could also use 3.0. I think we are not dedicated to new nodes, but I'm not sure, so I will be using the newest Blender. Delete first of all everything, and then we can try to model a little mobile phone, and I think this could be looking like something like that maybe. And we can, first of all, we have to round this vertices here, and we do this with Control Shift and B, and then we can drag out. And if we would scroll the mouse wheel, then we can define the roundness like that. Nice mobile phone. This is Apple, by the way. Perfect quality, perfect roundness. So then we can then we can take this face, and then we can insert it with E and then scale it down like that. And then we can see it's a little bit looking buggy, and that's because we have overlapping faces, whatever. So we have to try to select this face here, and then we can delete it. And now this looks fine. And then we can, so these screens are always kind of not round, so we can scale all these vertices by 0. So they're all collapsing like that. Scale 0 and scale 0. And now we can have a look from the top. So I think we can scale this a little. Oh yeah, we have to enable X-ray mode so we can select every vertex, and then we can scale it out a bit and up, something like that maybe. And then we can insert this face. So with E, and then you can take it down like that. And we can take this outer edge, and you can select every single edge here, but you can also hold Alt, and that will select everything for you. And this will select the edge loop here, and then you can drag it out with E, and I will drag it down a little bit like that. And then we can solve the shading issues here. So I want to have it shaded smooth, but that looks horrible, of course. So we can turn on here in the normal submenu the auto smooth, and then it looks alright. Now we have our mobile phone, and now we can model the messages. So for this we will be also using a plane. This plane is maybe a little bit like that. It depends on how. No, we have to first round it, because this has to be a rectangle, because then the roundness looks absolutely strange. So we can round it with strength, shift and B, and then we can do like that. And this corner here on the top, I will scale it down by 0, and then I will be creating more vertices here, so we have a little speech bubble here, like in WhatsApp. So with Control and R we can create another vertex here, and with double typing G we can move it on the vertex, on the edge, sorry. And I will be creating another one here in the middle, and we can drag that out, and I will be rounding it as well. No, maybe here on the top. This is more like, whoops, more WhatsApp style. And maybe around this here also a little bit. Just like that. And now we have our little message. But we want to have a little thickness here. So we can grab in the modifiers the solidify modifier and maybe make it 0.5 or so. Whoa, this is a lot too lot. 0.05 I mean. And here we can see we also want to have it shaded smooth and the auto smooth enabled. And you can save here if you want to. Imagine we would be in a group, in a WhatsApp group. So we can make the little header like that, and we put it on the top here. And I will be enabling here cavity and shadows so I can see on the top view what it looks like. So maybe like that. So this is our header. Now we can create some text. So we can drag this up here and we can lift this down. Maybe like so. And now we can create some text. You can customize the text, of course. So we can type some text here. And we have to scale it down, of course. Maybe this way. And here we have our first message. We can scale it so it's fitting. And then we can adjust this. So I don't want to scale it down like that because that would destroy our I would go in edit mode and drag these up here and like that. And the text shouldn't be flat, so we can go here into geometry and then we can drag the extrude up so it's 3D now. And let's model more messages. Or maybe make a little time lapse here so you don't have to, I mean, you know what I'm doing here. I just repeat the step of duplicating all of this and then write it new and then adjust the height new. So this will be a time lapse. So now we've made our messages here. So I have just written here something I've thought is important at the moment. So we can now maybe first of all go into shading. I will use Eevee for this. And I think the mobile phone should be black. Like this. And I think I will be making, I first maybe make the background so we can, no. First make this a glass material. So turn transmission on and alpha blend mode hashed and screen space reflection. And I turn it here also on. And I turn also the bloom on. So that's nice. And now I want to have the background of our mobile phone. I want to delete it because I want to have another picture and I want to have a custom picture there. And I think it's easier when I use a plane for this. So let's set it up. Yeah, like this. And now we can use a picture. So I've Googled a WhatsApp background picture and we can use it here. Now I have this background here and I drag it, drop it in. It looks like that. So you can just go to Google and search WhatsApp background and then you can download some pictures. And then I think I'll leave it there. and I will drag it into the emission color. And we can use this on the emission color. And I want to have it also affect the emission strength. So I will look on here and then I will adjust these handles, maybe make it ease. And then I will that. And then I will be using a math node, and then I will multiply our emission strength so it is more, just like that. And then I will turn on transmission so that we have a glass background, and maybe the roughness to 0.1, something like that. And this will be fine for the background. And we can see here, this is our banner, and we can make this one a little bit more dark mode, like this. And then we can go on to our messages here, and I will be using the same dark material on these. And this looks good, but the text is not really pointing out, so oh, here's Mona Lisa. Anyways, so we can apply a simple emission to the text, maybe an emission of 2, maybe an emission of 1.5, and I will call it EMI, and then I will apply it on all our texts, just like that. And now we are ready with the design, and now we can start to make the animations. So, oh no, we forgot the banner here. For this I will be using simple text, just like that, and maybe put it up like so. And now we can first of all, if we are sure that the text is correct, we can, because we want to combine these two objects that are one message, we want to have this as one object, so we have to join them. And this is not possible if this is a text, so we have to make the text, and so currently this is a text object, so we can modify it, and we have to convert this to a mesh. And now we can select these two and then hit Control and G. And now this looks like a completely mess, and this is because we have to undo this. We have to apply the solidify modifier we did before. So we have to apply this one and then select them both and then hit Control and J. And now we have one object. So now, of course, the edge looks a little bit strange. That's because auto smooth is not enabled anymore, so we have to enable it. And this is now our message. Another thing we have to do, the origin is here, and we want to have it here on the top. So we have to select the vertex here and then hit Shift and S. So we have this pie menu, and then we want to have the cursor to select it. So the cursor is on our selected vertex. Then we can go out of edit mode, and then we can set the origin to 3D cursor. And now if we would rotate this message, it rotates on the tip here. And now we do the same thing with all the other messages. So here we have to apply the solidify modifier. Then we have to convert our text to a mesh and then hit select them both and then Control and J. And now the shading is wrong, so we have to use our auto smooth again. Then we have to select our vertex here and then Shift and S and cursor to selected. Then we can set the origin to 3D cursor. And the same thing with those. And now we are ready with those messages, and you can label them. I will just put them in a collection. So select them all and then press M. And then I want to have a new collection, messages. And then I want to label them. So like just simple 1, 2. So they are in order then later on in geometry nodes. 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. And now we have our messages in our collection. So if we would select our collection, you can see that's all those messages. And now we can create something in geometry nodes. So we can hide our collections. And now we want to have a simple path. So in other words, a curve. You can rotate it 90 degrees and put it here. And what we want is we want to have here in edit mode, you can see we have different points on this curve or path. And we want to have on every point of our curve, we want to have a message in the order we have given here. And for this, we will need geometry nodes. So let's select our curve and we want to go into the geometry nodes editor. And I want to have a new geometry node tree. Let's drag these out. And how can we put on every point a new mesh or an object? So we have to instance on our points. So we can go with Shift and A. You can go with this menu. It's also here on the top by Add. Here, Instance and Instance on Points node. You can drag it in here and now our curve is gone. And this is right because we have instanced nothing on our curve. So, and we can drag our messages into geometry nodes, so our collection, and we can use it as instances. And now we can see something's wrong here, and this is because we instance on every point, we instance a collection. So set it to relative. On every point, we instance a whole collection. And this is not right. So yeah, so we have a little bit of offset, I see. So we can see here, if we would move this point. So I think we'll have to select all messages and we have to apply their scale and rotation. So Control and A and apply the scale and the rotation. And now we can hide our messages again. And now we can rotate them on 90 degree on the z-axis. And now we can see, yay, it's working. So on every point here, we have one message. And now we can place them however we want to. So I will drag this whole thing a bit over. And I will manually distribute them so that it looks good. And now we can see we have no more points, so we have to extrude new ones. And this can we do with using the E key. So with this we can extrude another point. This. And we can do this until we have all messages. So the E key and then logging on the y-axis. And I think this was the last. No, this was the last, right? Yes. So now it's repeating from the top, and I don't want that. So now we have made this in geometry nodes, and now we want to animate this with the help of geometry nodes. And this is why we did the whole thing in geometry nodes with instancing on points, because we want to animate it. And this is a beginner tutorial, so it doesn't get too complicated. So we want to have the messages scale down when they are out of the screen, and here also out of the screen. And then we want to rotate them here. So how can we now do this effect? So let me explain. We would have an icosphere here. We would use proximity on our messages to tell how far the icosphere is away from our messages. And those messages that are like here would be scaled down to 0, and that would be here would be scaled up to 1. And this is how we get the effect. So let me add an icosphere like this, and we would scale it like this, and I would scale it down because it makes it a little bit better, like this. And let us apply the scale with strength and A. Apply the scale, and I want to have it invisible, so I'll turn down the alpha and the alpha blend. And in the viewport shading, oh, I see, we not used the auto smooth on one of our messages. We have solved that problem, and we can now go into viewport shading and select the wire so we can see through it. And now we can go onto a geometry node, and we have here the icosphere. We can drag it in. How can we now define the distance from our icosphere to our messages? For this we will be using an geometry proximity node like this, and we can scale our instances with an scale instance node like this. And we can now use the distance on our scale. Now it looks like that. And this is because we have also used the original. We have to use the relative. And now we can see it influences our messages, but in the other way around. So we have to invert this. So we can use a color ramp for this. That set it to ease, because ease is always better. And then we can, and now we can adjust our color ramp. We can add here a transform to scroll our screen, transform with the translation of X. And now you can see here on the bottom the scale is fine. It slightly scales out of, oh no, it's not fine. It's not fine. This message is the problem, I think. So like this. I think it's fine. Get also here on the top disappear. I think we are ready with the geometry node stuff. Now we have to animate this. So let us grab our timeline here real quick and go on frame 1. We want to drag our icosphere on the top. Oh, yeah, we have to reset our transform. This, and this should be gone. Then we create a keyframe with I on the location, and then maybe on frame 100 or so Want to have it like this, maybe that, and put a location. So now it's animating from up to down, and now we have to animate our scrolling, maybe from 50, make a keyframe here, to 250. So I'll make it a bit faster for the sake of the tutorial. Maybe in your own example you would want more frames. But now we are ready with the animations. Look at that. So we now have nice messages. So let me create real fast a background so that we can, no, we are in the object in word space. So a noise like that, and I will mix it with a Voronoi, and I will use the effect of my size. And now we want to have a color ramp for both of these. And so I want to make it a stars, so that it's more fun to space. Like this. And the line, so that is more smooth. We have to invert the color channels. And we have to get these two right. Right. So we make it like this. And I'll turn the details down and also the scale. Those values. And we can use the color ramp on this one to define the colors. And I want to have it as bright. Like that. And now we can animate the camera. So if you want, you can also make a profile picture here with a cylinder. Scale it down, maybe here, like this. Bluish color here. If you have a picture, you can apply it here. And now we can animate the camera. So first of all, I have to add a camera, and we have to maybe like this. Then I want to have keyframe, and in the middle is 125. I want to have it maybe here, and on frame 250 I want it to be on the top, like this. Location keyframe. So now it looks like that. A little bit strange, and this is because we can take all the middle keyframes and press Y and then automatic. Now the animation is a lot more smooth. Here it's a little bit off. And maybe I want to adjust the color of our glass materials. So here, maybe they can be a little bit brighter or really dark. Depends on what you want to do. But I think that's good so far. And now we can hit render. Oh no, we have to, so we can use depth of field. Here, depth of field. And I want to apply it to this empty. So I'll center it around our first message here. And the focus on object is our empty. And the f-stop, turn the f-stop down so you can see it better. Like this. And now this should be working. So I will animate our f-stop. It will be from here, location of course, to then finally on our last message. And this should be good. Just like that. Maybe I turn the f-stop a little bit higher so these stars are not as. And now we can hit render. So I think we are ready. Thank you guys for watching. I hope this was fun to make. I know I had fun. I hope you did too. And if you guys want to support me, no, I'm just kidding. If you guys want to support the people in the Ukraine, I've searched for ways to spend money to help them. I didn't found something correctly, maybe because it is brand new news. if you want to support them, you can search for, I think there are ways to spend money to help them, but I haven't found it, but I haven't searched that much. But if you want to help them, of course you can do that. And it would be something good to spend money on, because that people are like crap at the moment and they're feeling not good. Completely burned down their homes. And you sit here and model a little mobile phone. So if you want to help, you can, of course. I hope there are ways. And thank you guys for watching. I hope you're all doing well. And see you next time.